intelligence with cloud-based physical and digital security. I'm Navdeep Jauhar from Convergint Technologies, Director of Internet of Things, and integral part of digital transformation team, bringing a new footprint for the company right when we are at the inflection point of Industrial Revolution 4.0. As we build intelligence of things, visual intelligence along with physical security and access becomes very important. We will open up this session with our partner Openpath, who will talk about cloud-based physical and digital security. Then we have our partner Cisco Meraki in the second half of the session to talk about IT-driven visual intelligence. Today from Openpath, we have Phil Goldsmith. Phil is a proven technology entrepreneur, and he has built 3 successful startups, Edgecast Networks, Knowledge Base, and HostPro, before creating Openpath. And he has built many sales organizations from ground up. Please be aware that we are bringing impactful demos from Openpath and Meraki tomorrow. So Phil, please take it away.
Great, thank you very much, Navdeep, for the introduction. I will try to live up to those high expectations that you've set. Thank you very much for the opportunity today, and good morning, good afternoon, and Joe, I see you there too. Good evening to everybody on the Meraki side and the Convergint side. So very happy to be speaking to everybody today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and maybe Navdeep just confirm that everybody can see it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, very good. So I will jump right in and tell the team here a little bit about Openpath, who we are, what we do. We're a next generation access control solution. A couple of our key differentiators that we will touch on a little bit today are true enterprise cloud solution, which we have not seen yet in the marketplace when it comes to access control, and also a mobile digital credential first solution, which we have seen out there in the market with regards to access control, but we take a very different approach towards mobile credential from a few various touch points and perspectives. So given that, we can jump right in. So we set out and we think about Openpath building the company, building the technology, building the product set. We think about a better user experience, and that's a better user experience for everybody, for the system integrators selling, the sales teams at Convergint selling Openpath, to the techs installing it, to the administrators who are administering the cloud system, all the way down, of course, to the employees, to the end users who are using Openpath day in, day out to access any entry, their office, or anywhere they need to go. We've got a pretty big focus on enterprise. So as Convergint does as well, as we've grown, we're working with bigger and bigger global enterprise clients, number of Fortune 500, Global 500. So our focus is really big enterprise, commercial real estate, property managers, landlords, bigger deployments, universities, healthcares, but we're also trusted by mid-range, mid-sized business as well. So we feel our focus is very aligned with the focus of the Convergint teams working with your customer base, similar type of customers. Now, there's not yet, maybe there will be in the future, not yet a Gartner Magic Quadrant around what we do, physical access control, but there's another group, an analyst, that has built a pretty nice Magic Quadrant style of where Openpath fits. And we actually, we didn't pay for this or anything. This was an independent study. So Openpath came in at the upper right, which is where you want to be in any Magic Quadrant. And they did a pretty detailed analysis. In fact, many of the other vendors on here, some I've never even heard of. So we're very proud to be listed in the top of the Commanders Quadrant here. So as a next generation access control, we very much want to control and have ownership over every piece of the solution, the entire solution. And that's one of the challenges within the industry over the last couple of decades. Many different vendors being involved in many different components of access control. So we design, engineer, develop our own hardware, readers, panels, modern hardware, true cloud-based software that is enterprise grade, yet still easy to use. We host in AWS, so very multi-tenant, true cloud solution. We're not taking an on-prem software and then virtualizing it and putting it in a data center. That's not how we operate. Very differentiated mobile credential, everything encrypted, everything secure, and we're going to dive in a little bit to the functionality and of course what that translates to the user experience. And then finally, it's in our name, Openpath. We're an open platform. Everything we do, whether it's our portal, whether it's our mobile software development kit, everything is open. We've got a very modern, well-documented and public API. So tons of integrations are built with Openpath and very easy for our integration partners like Convergint to also grab our API controls and very quickly and easily, seamlessly, using modern code, integrate our solution into any other platform. So touching on a few challenges we saw in the industry and we still see in the industry in many different ways. I mentioned this before. We feel, and maybe we're being a little arrogant, but we feel there's some problems that are core and inherent in the access control market. And one problem is you've got silos of different vendors owning each part of the stack and blocking innovation across the board. So you've got software vendors who make the old style Windows 95 or Windows, some still runs on NT, believe it or not, software, so on-prem software. You've got the panel vendors who make the panels that the software vendors have to integrate with and then keep up with that technology on the panels. And then of course, you've got the credential and the reader vendors who are owning the credential market, owning the readers. And these are different companies, even though some own the others, of course, but different platforms, different technologies, each one blocking innovation of the other. So we're able to build and be different in the industry and be also very nimble and rapid in our feature rollout and development approach because we don't depend on other vendors or OEM products into our own platform that could block our own innovation. And of course, you got a number of proprietary systems in here across the board as well, further making things a bit more difficult. We see a lot of issues with a credential component too. So if we go back to what is the user experience, so your customers, think about them. You've got the employees who carry around the stack of key cards. They don't love that. You've got the administrators at the company who, if you've got tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of employees distributing these credentials globally, getting them back when somebody leaves, replacing them when they're lost, it's really an administrative nightmare with a lot of challenges there. And finally, for the customer, as things move more to InfoSec and chief security officers making decisions, they're more and more concerned about cybersecurity, the security, the encryption, and a lot of these key cards, one can run down to the local 7-Eleven or convenience store and make a copy of a key card. 70% or so key cards out there are copyable and unencrypted. So big security risk dealing with these key cards. We also looked at where is mobile at? Mobile credentials have been out there for a while. We're not the only company, of course, to have a mobile credential, but we saw that there was very little adoption, even as recent as 2-3 years ago. There's only maybe 2% industry adoption of mobile credentials to use for access control. So we looked at this, we said, why is this? Why is this happening? And one was very heavy reliance on Bluetooth. Bluetooth is great, but it doesn't work every time. So a lot of mobile apps that relied on Bluetooth and didn't properly manage that with the operating system, whether it's iOS or Android, the user, the employees would experience a lot of functionality problems, which would lead them back to just, can I please have my key card back? It's so much easier, it works every time. And just a poor user experience. Nothing really worked very well. And one thing we saw related to the user experience was what we think about as thought cycles. So thought cycles is, what are the things I have to think about to unlock a door? And if you've got a badge, you think, where is my badge? It's on my belt. Pull it out and then swipe it. So really 3 actions to unlock a door with a badge. Before Openpath, the mobile apps out there, you had some more thought cycles. You had to think about where is my phone? Take out my phone, unlock my phone, close other apps, find the access app, select the app, scroll through a lot of doors, click the door, hope it unlocks. So a lot of friction there to be able to deliver an unlock experience to employees. So the default was just badge is easier. Let's stick with badge. But that caused a poor user experience, as we talked about prior, for all these different cohorts throughout the organization. So now we have Openpath. Many different configurations around this. You can require 2-factor authentication, but the default convenience method is you have your phone, you walk up, you wave at the reader, the door opens, you go in, works every time, totally frictionless. So one thought cycle, walk up, wave, go in, much easier than using a badge. So that's one big employee, big user experience that we were able to deliver to the market that was not seen before. Zero interaction needed with the phone in many different configurations. Touchless, it can be automatically open the door with an automatic door opener paired there, working in every environment from suite to building. Doesn't make a difference. We're going to provide frictionless access control across the board. So how do we do this? We've got many patents throughout our organization, but one of the ones we like to talk about quite a bit is our triple unlock technology. So in this case, we've got not just reliance on Bluetooth, but we're using the mobile network if the user's connected to the cellular network via AT&T or Verizon or whoever their carrier is, and also the Wi-Fi network if they're connected to the local Wi-Fi in the building, in the suite, and of course Bluetooth. So this gives us 3 different channels that will essentially race to unlock a door when they wave to unlock, or in some cases click in the app to unlock. That will send that signal across these 3 channels. The fastest one to respond is the one that will be used to open the door. So this gives us a very high reliability rate. We get an unlock every time, and a very fast unlock too, because we have 3 choices of what's going to be fastest way to unlock the door. And if we look across all of our customers, we see that about 94 or so percent primarily use our mobile credential versus a key card or a fob. We took the mobile experience a bit further and we said, okay, we need to not just satisfy the employees, but satisfy the administrators at the customer to do a lot more than just open a door. So on the left side, we've got the badge, the style sheet, everything very easy to configure in our cloud portal, get the exact look, feel, design of that customer. If they ever are asked for visual verification of who they are, they can simply take out their phone, unlock the phone, show their badge on the app. And this will automatically show them the doors they get within Bluetooth range. So it says here, searching for nearby readers. When she gets near a reader, that reader will pop up there. So if she does use her phone to click to unlock, she's not going to have to scroll through a big list of doors. But most of our users, most employees will just wave to unlock or tap to unlock and don't actually interact with our app very much at all. On the right, we've got the power user, and this would be the administrator at the customer. So here they could give somebody remote access, issue guest passes for visitor management, trigger lockdowns in the event of emergency, see activity logs. So tons of different functionality that can be rolled out to the administrator at the customer above and beyond what the average employee has access to. We've got, again, typically another administrative feature, a guest pass functionality, which is a lightweight visitor management solution built into our app. So this gives the ability for an administrator to send a guest link to a non-employee who could then unlock a door or certain doors for some period of time without needing to install the Openpath app. And this is good for vendors, for visitors, makes a very good first impression when somebody's coming for an interview. And when the time comes, they can click to get in the office by just getting a text link or getting an email with a link to unlock the door. Now, we are, of course, backwards compatible. We do support badges and fobs. We're all about giving the customer a choice of what they want to use, what methods to unlock a door. We supply our own encrypted badges and key fobs that are Openpath branded that can be printed on as well for the customer. Layouts, images, whatever they want to do. We also support most third-party prox cards, MyFair, DesFire, Corp 1000. So most typical badge formats out there, we will also support on our reader lineup. One little bit overlooked problem in the industry is the design aesthetic. You know, we like to walk around and sometimes we see pictures. My favorite is the bottom left one here of what readers look like. So you'll sometimes, I don't think Convergint installs stuff like this, but many people do, where you've got the reader attached to the intercom, attached to the camera, attached to the keypad, and the design doesn't look very good. So our hardware has won a number of design awards from our readers to our PoE single door controllers, and our design will fit right in to any substrate, modern office, traditional office, contemporary office. Doesn't make a difference. We're going to enhance the look, feel, and design of any environment where our hardware gets installed. We are cloud-based, but we work even if the internet is down. We do store all the credential information without limits on our local hardware. So we can still, it's not limited to a certain number of cards or credentials. If there's no connectivity, we also store all the configurations locally on our panel. And then our hardware connects to our native cloud software in AWS. Of course, we have access to the APIs. Our hardware is very, very compact and very intelligent. We have the concept of this core, and the core is the brains of our controller. And then we've got 4-door panels, 8-door panels, and 16-port IO panels, which all connect directly to our core unit. So it just requires one Ethernet uplink to the network. So you can get very high door density with very minimal port utilization on the network. And we've got single door controllers, which are PoE, PoE plus, and even Wi-Fi in the case where there's network cabling to the door and there's not an appetite to wire all the way back to the MDF or the IDF. We also support all types of entries. So we're very big in the commercial real estate market where we deal with elevators, whether they're destination dispatch integration or relay-based, turnstile banks, parking garages. So we're not just for the door. Any type of entry, any type of building, anything with a relay is a very good fit for Openpath. And finally, let's switch to the software here. One other problem we saw in the industry was a lot of the softwares out there typically look like Windows 95 style. The user interface is not very intuitive. Somebody wants to access it from home, typically requires a VPN. Performance could be an issue. The IT management overhead is very, very high because you need to install and maintain a lot of servers on site and the actual gear on site, and not just the hardware, but the Windows updates, the SQL patches. There are thousands of SQL patches that need to be updated to a SQL database. So the IT directors and CIOs that the customers we work with are very interested in cloud solutions. Even Fortune Global 500 is moving very rapidly to looking at cloud solutions for everything that they do. And that's where Openpath delivers that enterprise-grade cloud functionality in a cloud format with very, very minimal on-site footprint. So cloud done right. We're all used to using cloud for virtually everything, whether it's accounting software or CRM software. What's been missing in the world of security, especially access control, is a cloud platform that's just modern, done right, easy to use portal, but then fully functional with all the enterprise grade features and technology that one would expect to manage a global enterprise with access control, whether it's remote diagnostics or real-time reporting or flexible custom dashboards with very specific widgets for the GSOC or the SOC to be able to in real time monitor all activity, granular reporting, configurable rules engine, so many different functionalities directly available and accessible from our cloud, but still keeping it easy to use and easy to administrate. So we're all about the user experience and the usability of the solution. Again, open framework. This is just a screenshot of our API. We don't hide our API. We don't sell our API. We don't only make it available to certain parties. It's available on our website. All the documentation is there. It's REST-based. Anything you can do in our portal, the corresponding API call is there. So that opens up the door to have a tremendous amount of integration options with Openpath, whether they're integrations that Openpath builds, or our technology partners build, or the system integrator like Convergint builds, or even the customers can easily grab our API and integrate it with Slack or the alarm system, or really any other system, any other dashboard that they run and maintain internally. A few very popular integrations that we have that we've already built that are available directly from our portal are integrations with identity management providers. So if you think about traditionally, how do you manage a database of thousands of users? It's not so easy to do. You've got a SQL database on site. There's manual adding, subtracting, CSV importing. How do you sync that? A lot of custom coding, a lot of custom programming. More and more customers these days are moving to enterprise-grade identity management solutions like an Okta, like a G Suite, like an Office 365 Azure. And that's where we've got the native hooks in our portal to do near real-time or real-time syncing with these third-party identity providers. So story I like to tell, if you think about organization with maybe 50,000 employees. And with 2 clicks in our portal, you can sync with your Okta, sync with your Active Directory, bring all the users in, make sure they get mapped to the appropriate user groups in Openpath, give them the appropriate permissions, even assign them a mobile credential when they come in. So then one email can go out, 50,000 employees, they install the app, log in for the first time, they see all the doors they have access to, they can start using it. Compared to 50,000 key cards, global customer, how do we get these 50,000 key cards distributed throughout the world? Very different experience, very different level of administrative overhead for the customer administrators to deal with at that point. We also have a tremendous number of partners in our ecosystem. Meraki is a very key partner for video management. We also have partnerships for alarms, for tenant amenities, for building management, advanced visitor management, wellness verification apps, destination dispatch, elevator integrations, Slack. So lots of integrations. Some of these we build ourselves with our Openpath development team, and others our technology partners will build themselves. So we're always adding. It's a little bit almost like we want to get there, but be the Salesforce app exchange of access control, where we've got various technology partners out there grabbing our APIs and building integrations themselves. And many of the integrations that we have happen without us even knowing about them, because the technology partner will build it with our easy to use modern API, roll it out, and it's done. A lot of future-proof security features as well. Video integrations, you'll see the Meraki platform here shortly. We've got a great integration with Meraki that's directly built into the Openpath portal to set up and configure doors directly with Meraki cameras, all point and click, all very easy to do. And then we report on the video events as well, actually inside the Openpath portal, in addition to, of course, being the Meraki portal. We've got for security and also for various functionality, a lockdown solution. So we're not the only one with a lockdown solution, but ours is probably the only one that various lockdown plans can be built, configured, and then be delivered, rolled out by the administrator or those who have permission to do so directly from our mobile app, being able to trigger a lockdown, revert a lockdown. It can also be done from a key card at any of our readers. And then finally, we've got a number of anti-tailgating integrations as well, whether that's density.io or others, to alert, report on tailgating events that could occur. So if we go back to a little over a year ago, when we were really impacted, all of us in the world, really impacted by COVID, if we think back to an early slide I showed, being able to control that technology stack was very big for us, and being able to build new features, new technology in a quick and nimble way was very important. So you saw the video of the Wave to Unlock. Pre-COVID, that was Touch to Unlock, and we had all this marketing around touch. And in about 2 weeks, we're able to develop the wave functionality, so one can wave about 10 centimeters away from the reader to unlock the door. You don't need to touch the reader anymore. And we're able to push that out via over-the-air firmware to any customer who wanted that pushed out. Didn't require any truck rolls or on-site visits to roll out new firmware, everything over the air, and that makes us extremely nimble. Occupancy management, now it's a big deal to determine who is going to the office, how many people can be in the office, on a floor, in a room, in a conference room. So adding an occupancy management module to our platform was also very key to what we did to increase safety, increase security, along with increasing the functionality that we deliver to our customers. And then other integrations, whether they're with temperature screening cameras or a wellness verification apps, we were able to pivot quite quickly and work on new features, modules, and functionality that was very important to the new world that we were living in. Openpath, because we're a cloud solution, InfoSec, security, cybersecurity is really critical to what we do. We are fully SOC 2 compliant, CCPA, GDPR for privacy. On the hardware side, CE, BIS for India, CCC for China. We have the ratings for Australia, New Zealand. So we've got all the necessary hardware requirements and stamps to be able to be deployed globally throughout the enterprise. So technical support, not a lot of manufacturers highlight and talk about their technical support. We actually do, and for good reason. You can even go to our app reviews on the Play Store and the Apple Store, or the Play Store and the App Store, And we're consistently just below almost a 5 rating, which is pretty unusual for any app. Not to mention an access control app that is used by people who install an app and want to frictionlessly unlock a door. First contact resolution, we resolve almost close to 100%. 90 is where we're at today of all issues on first contact. Nobody will ever get more than a few minutes of hold time with our support team. We support both our integration partners, but we also support the end customers as well. If they call our team and need support directly from Openpath, we're always happy to help out. Oops, what happened here? And yeah, so that's a little bit about Openpath. I'll end on this slide with a nice image of our hardware, our readers, our mobile app, single door controllers, and cloud portal. And hopefully I was able to save some time for any questions that come up, or Navdeep, if you want to jump into Meraki, we can do that too, and then wait for questions at the end.
Thank you, Phil, for great evangelization on your platform. We will have Q&A in the end, and then I will now switch gear to the Meraki part. I would like to comment on Meraki a little bit, that why we have combined Openpath and Meraki. So being at the front end, we are seeing an unprecedented growth, acceleration in IoT, AI, computer vision, cyber data, and a lot of devices coming on board. So visual intelligence is another piece which we should consider when we deal with complex world of solutions. Right? So to have visibility into this part of the architecture, visual intelligence, we have Joe Weiss from Meraki. Joe is a global practice lead for Cisco Meraki smart cameras and sensors, and he specializes in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and also physical security. He has an extensive background in retail and hospitality. So Joe, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Navdeep. What a great welcome. And I'm so excited to be here with the Convergint team, sharing a little bit about Meraki's Intelligent Edge. I'm Joe Weiss, the Global Practice Lead for IoT and Edge Intelligence at Meraki. And a little bit about Meraki for those of you that might not be familiar. What makes Meraki special? Why people love Meraki? Well, it's because we make technology that just works. And I know that sounds like a strange concept to those of you that have been in the tech space for a while, but really Meraki technology is designed to work when you plug it in. And to that end, our Meraki cloud is the largest and most battle-tested platform in networking, with over 500,000 customers and 8 million devices actively calling home to the Meraki dashboard every minute of every day. That's enough about Meraki. I know that the reason you guys all came here today was to talk a little bit about the Meraki Intelligent Edge. And I think before we get into speeds and feeds and all of the underpinnings of physical security and computer vision, I think we need to discuss why we got into this space in the first place. And the reason for that is we actually had at our office a break-in, and when we went to get the video footage from our existing solution, we found that it was really complicated. And we went to the Cisco physical security teams, and that was just when our journey began. And what we learned was how complex traditional physical security systems can be. Things that you should expect to be simple and easy, like making a configuration change or updating firmware, or even in our case, trying to share video with the police, becomes a minefield of complexity. And that's down to different systems being put in at different times and all kinds of different components all trying to work together. And sometimes it gets really complicated. And what we know is that this complexity just costs time and it costs money, which is why at Meraki, we believe in simplifying powerful technology so that our end users can focus on their mission rather than having to worry about, is my camera online or offline, or am I recording video? You see, we know that simplicity is actually an organizational benefit. And when you simplify this technology, you can do amazing things. which is why as we built our camera system, we've designed it for outcomes. We focus on solving problems that our customers have and not just trying to have every feature that everyone else has. We build our own things. And that doesn't mean we don't have any features. We'll talk a little bit about some of the incredible artificial intelligence and machine learning built into every single Meraki smart camera. But before we get to that, we have to ask ourselves, why are organizations buying cameras in the first place? Why even have these things? And whenever I talk to people about this, I usually get the same thing. Well, I buy cameras to help me protect against theft or loss. Or I buy cameras to help ensure that my employees or guests feel safe when they're on my premise. But there's a new emerging category of uses around cameras where you can use these systems to gain insights and information that has never been possible to get before. And what's also changing in this space is the types of users that use the system. What would traditionally have only been a solution for real estate, properties, physical security, loss prevention, well, now there are more users that have to be involved in the conversation. IT management and security is often involved because the devices live on the network and they must be secure. And marketing and operations and real estate teams everywhere are learning the power of the intelligence that you can drive out of a smart camera system. But what we know for certain is that organizations require solutions that are smart, secure, and flexible to balance physical security requirements with all of the IT concerns. And so we had to think differently about how we built our solution. In fact, we thought, how would you build a modern camera system for a modern era if you weren't dependent on technical debt, if you weren't dependent on the legacy of your past and you could only focus on the future? Well, you'd build a camera system exactly like we did at Cisco Meraki, with entirely self-contained cameras, meaning their storage and their computational power lives in the camera itself, so that when you plug it in, it works. I know it's a strange concept to be able to just plug a camera in and then see video on your device, whether that be your phone, your tablet, or your computer. And the thing is, we know that enterprises have certain expectations when they buy technology like this. It has to be easy on the network. It has to be remotely accessible. It has to be smarter. And every single one of our smart cameras delivers that with less than 50 kilobits of upstream bandwidth consumed when you're not streaming video. But if you do need to view the video remotely, we'll create a secure tunnel directly from that computer to the endpoint, and you can view it from anywhere without the need for VPNs or specialty tunnels. It just works with Meraki. And when we develop our solutions, we think about how do we bring the cost down by simplification, but still drive business value and intelligence. But make no mistake, we're still Cisco. And at Cisco, we are the 4th largest cybersecurity institution in the world, with the only 3 larger than us being nation states. And I'll leave you to figure out which countries those are, which is why when we architect solutions at Cisco, we build them for cybersecurity first. So all of the video on the Meraki camera is encrypted end to end, on the camera, at rest, in transit. And when that camera needs new features and firmware, it's securely delivered from the Meraki cloud where it's signed by Cisco. And then we've included a hardware chip on every single camera that actually validates that signature to make sure that only signed firmware runs. And when you need to provision users and user access to the system, we integrate all of the modern single sign-on tools and have role-based access control, making provisioning users and revoking users' access a simple and easy task for any IT user. Now, when it comes to our camera lineup, we build all of our own hardware. So everything that we make, these are all built by Meraki. We've got our MV12 mini dome camera. That camera is designed to be inexpensive and an easy entry point for Meraki cameras. The MV22 adds optical zoom to that. And the 72 takes that capability outdoors, adding IP67 and IK10 plus rating. And I didn't know what that meant when I first started, so I had to look it up. That means it's weather resistant and that you can drop a 22-pound bowling ball 40 centimeters directly on the camera and it will survive. It's designed to be vandal resistant and rugged. And our MV32 fisheye camera, it's ultra compact, it fits in the palm of your hand, and was Red Dot's Product Design Award winner from last year for most influential consumer product in a camera space. We also are launching the MV52 bullet camera. So this camera will be shipping in just a few weeks. And this is our next step when it comes to outdoor cameras, with more than 1 terabyte of storage on the camera, 4K video recording, ultra long optical range. And I'll show you guys a demo of this after this session. And when we're looking at the camera, it also includes things like electronic image stabilization. And if you need to retrofit with an older deployment, we have low voltage power input built directly on the camera. The MV52 is truly amazing, with optical quality that I've seen rival even my DSLR. When we talk about other new cameras, we have an exciting new camera that's coming as well in June, the MV2. And this camera, well, it's unique. This is what we refer to as a flex cam. Think of it like a enterprise grade Nest or Arlo camera, a camera that when you plug it in, it works, it's secure from the ground up. And this one's a bit different because users can install it themselves. It's USB-C powered and uses Wi-Fi as its primary communication backhaul. And the thing about that is every single Meraki camera has Wi-Fi built in. So when you need to replace older analog cameras, or maybe you just want a simple and easy deployment, you can leverage Meraki Wi-Fi or any Wi-Fi vendor's network in order to be able to connect your cameras back to the network. Now the MV2, what makes it special, what makes it a little different, it is at an even lower price point than any of our other cameras because this camera doesn't actually store video on it. You can stream video to third-party DVRs and NVRs using RTSP, which is included in every Meraki smart camera, or what we would recommend is archiving the video in the cloud using Meraki's secure cloud archiving tool, which comes in 30, 90, 180, or 365 days of storage. This really gives you that enterprise-grade security and reliability that you expect from Cisco in all of the ease of management and deployment of, well, a consumer camera. And when you look at the MV2, it truly goes anywhere. I've deployed this on a battery pack magnetically mounted to my range hood, on a wall, on a tabletop, or even plugged into the USB port of a security appliance. Think about this. Anywhere that you have USB power, you can now deploy a camera when there's Wi-Fi available. This gives you the flexibility that only consumers have had prior to this with an enterprise-grade solution. And of course, as I mentioned, every one of our cameras has Wi-Fi built into it. But our cameras wouldn't be as compelling without smarter features to deliver the outcomes our customers need. Things that come out of the box when you plug a Meraki camera in. Analytics will tell you how many people the camera has seen and will even give you the ability to carve that into zones. Motion heat maps come out of the box. Plug a camera in, you know exactly how your space is being consumed. We'll detect both people and vehicles out of the box. And there's an open API architecture, so you can connect this into other business processes and systems as and when the customers need you to. All of this while maintaining privacy. I'm sure you'll hear a lot about facial recognition and other technologies. And at Cisco, we've chosen not to implement facial recognition into our smart cameras because we know that that technology is open for abuse, which is why we'll always give you access to the data and to the video because it is yours. And then what you do with that beyond that is on your responsibility. Now, some key values around the Meraki camera system. They're plug and play. No DVRs, no servers. Everything you need to install it comes in the box. No need to configure anything else. And because they're smarter, because they've got that neural network running on every smart camera, they can detect and classify people and vehicles. They can provide you trend data over time on a minute by minute, hour by hour, or day by day basis, so you can truly understand how your physical spaces are being consumed. And by the way, guys, this is a physical security camera that delivers that outcome as well. And of course, if you want to get smarter with your cameras, there are advanced intelligent analytics built directly in. We'll give you the ability to configure zones so you can then identify how people enter different spaces. But more importantly, we'll also give you access to a telemetry feed that comes off of the camera that will tell you the position of where every person or vehicle is in the field of view, and then track that over time in an anonymized fashion. So for those of you that maybe operate outside of the United States or North America and have to adhere to GDPR regulations, this camera system is perfectly fit for GDPR and it achieves every outcome required to meet compliance. And when we talk about cool features, motion heat maps out of the box, I plug my camera in and I get this. It's done using metadata, meaning you use very little bandwidth at less than 50 kilobits. Now, of course, there are other outcomes we can deliver with smart cameras like density and occupancy as people return to offices and measure how their physical spaces are being consumed. With our DNA Spaces platform, we have the ability to configure alerting and monitor real-time concentrations of people, all while maintaining privacy. So we'll tell you how many people are in the space, but we won't tell you that Joe is there. And if you want to get more advanced with this, we can, of course, offer things like Facemask detection to be able to understand not only how many people are in my space, but are they properly wearing face masks or PPE? And we can configure alerts to track this. And of course, you're going to hear some incredible stuff from our friends over at Openpath, who are the leaders in cloud managed access control. And when you want to integrate a Meraki camera into Openpath, it is a few clicks. It is less than 15 minutes worth of configuration and you are off and running. No need for another server, another physical box to manage and maintain. It is our cloud connected directly to their cloud, delivering you outcomes efficiently and quickly that you've never been able to achieve with that kind of pace. And when we talk about efficiency and we talk about delivery, I love to talk about physical security for vaccine storage. Operation Warp Speed has been in full swing in the United States, and Cisco has been there every step of the way, helping with networking infrastructure for new sites, and more importantly, physical security for vaccine storage, where our Meraki smart cameras sit directly above vaccine refrigerators with a Meraki door open close sensor, creating an auditable log of every time someone has entered or left the refrigerator open. And more importantly, the camera system and the sensor work in concert to determine if the door has been left open, so there's no wastage of these critical vaccines that need to be deployed. And we're not just doing this in the United States. Governments around the world have asked for Cisco to step up and help. Because when you make a secure, simple to deploy, easy to manage camera, and it directly ties into our sensors, you can deliver incredible outcomes. We didn't build a camera or a solution for this. We just have all of the necessary components to make this work when it needed to. And as I mentioned earlier, just because we can do all of this really great stuff does not mean that we're going to invade people's privacy. And I know that's so important for many of our users. We believe that with object detection and tracking, we can provide you all of the valuable insights you need without compromising people's privacy. No facial recognition in the product and no search for unique individuals. This is key to how this whole solution hangs together. Now, at the beginning of my presentation, I talked about outcomes. I talked about how we're not building features and that we're focused on solving problems. And one of those problems that came up was alarm integration. You see, lots of our customers wanted to integrate their building alarm systems with the Meraki smart cameras. And unfortunately, my engineers really didn't have much of an appetite to build another piece of hardware for us to maintain and manage. So we had to think differently about how we would solve this problem. Now, every single Meraki smart camera has a microphone integrated into it. And that microphone, well, nobody used because it turns out recording audio can be kind of creepy. So we paid to put the microphone in. Our customers paid for the microphone when they bought it, but nobody was getting any value out of it. So we thought, well, hold on a minute. What if we could introduce audio analytics using the microphone in every Meraki smart camera to listen to the environment in real time, convert the audio to a wave spectrograph like you see on the left, and then use that powerful neural network and machine learning model to be able to visually inspect the audio for patterns, to be able to determine things like burglar alarms and fire alarms and ambulances and police sirens. So that telemetry feed that I talked about earlier that will tell you people and their positional data, as well as vehicles and other positional data, will also tell you a few other key important things. What the lighting level is in real time, what the decibel and audio level is in real time, and if it hears an alarm trigger. Think about this. This telemetry feed comes in real time, multiple times per second, and you get all of this robust, rich information. So why did we build it? Because we believe in a concept where you get all of the context of the video without having to watch it. Because streaming video from sites can be incredibly bandwidth intensive, but if the system can tell you what you need to look for, or can provide you all the information you need without watching the video, well, then you can deploy it faster and more efficiently without ever having to watch the video. So that's been a lot about our cameras. I want to briefly touch on Meraki things. You see, in every Meraki smart camera and access point, we've included a Bluetooth radio. And we put it in there because we know that businesses are better with physical data in the digital world. Physical data like temperature and humidity, like water ingressing into my property, inventory location, or operational data, something as simple as, is the safe open or not right now? And today you can get this data with sensors. These things have existed forever. Thermostats and IoT trackers, there are endless products on the market, but they're really complicated to install, often requiring a dedicated server, on-premise appliances, reliability is challenging, scaling them can be really difficult, and they're just difficult to use. They're not simple, but Meraki is simple. So what our customers have been asking for is a simple solution to give them real-time visibility to those business-critical environments. And so we launched Meraki Things, our first dip into the sensor space. An MT10 temperature and humidity sensor, the MT12 water leakage sensor, and the MT20 intrusion or door open close sensor. What makes these special? Well, they use standard off-the-shelf AA batteries, and they come included in the package. And they have storage on the sensor. So if they ever become disconnected from their gateway, they can retain the information, and when they become reconnected, they can upload it. Now, the first use case for these specific sensors was all about the network closet. And this shouldn't be unfamiliar. We're Cisco. We build all the things that go in the network closet. So of course, this is the first use case we attacked, because this is an area that our customers have struggled with time and time again. But what you'll also notice in this is our Wi-Fi 6 access point and our Meraki smart camera in the corner. And the reason for that is because our sensors use existing Meraki gateways. Talk about simple. If you've deployed Meraki access points or Meraki cameras, all you do is take the sensor out of the package, push the button, and you get data in the cloud. It doesn't get any easier than this. In fact, I sent some sensors to my mom who's in her 60s because she wanted to be able to know the temperature in her greenhouse. And I said, well, take it out of the box, push the button, and within minutes on her phone, she had all of the temperature and humidity readings, and she was just blown away. This was because we deployed a Meraki smart camera for her exterior doors, and she was able to get this up and running by herself with no IT. This is about speed of deployment. I push a button and it works. If there's a problem, I get a notification, and that comes via SMS, email, or even on a webhook, so you can alert ServiceNow or other platforms. But it's still a Cisco device. So end-to-end encryption, trust anchors in every device, and over-the-air updates. Now, like I said, we're just getting started. And our next sensor that comes out in the next 30 days is going to be our MT11 cold chain sensor. This is designed to help monitor refrigeration with 5 days of storage on board as well, and 5 years of battery life. This has two different probe options, a bare metal probe for walk-in coolers and a glycol bottle probe for refrigerators like you might find in a grocery or convenience store. This is perfect for your food and beverage, quick serve restaurants, and cold chain logistics. And the great thing is, if they already have Meraki wireless access points, it's quite likely that they have backwards compatibility for our sensors. So all you need is the sensor and to push a button and you get data in the cloud. This couldn't be any simpler to deploy with peel and stick installation, completely cloud managed, they scale seamlessly, and they're so easy and intuitive to use. So why does all this matter? Well, when you can integrate into other platforms and eliminate infrastructure along the way, you can accelerate business outcomes. We just give you a shortcut to the business intelligence you need to drive and the physical security product that you need to depend on for your business. So with that, I hope you've taken some great notes and had a good time with me today. We're going to have an incredible demo session on the 20th, and I'm going to pass back to Navdeep to close us out. So thank you guys so much. It's been great and really appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you, Joe. That was amazing. Now, what we have perceived is that we can solve problems differently in a simplified way, massaging both visual and security intelligence at the same time and leveraging cloud. Let's go with a few questions and answers. Like this is a Q&A session now, we still have time. There are a few questions which have popped up. So Phil, are you with me on this to take over?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So I think, Phil, what we have perceived from Openpath and your presentation is that your enterprise platform is one of the best. What we saw, it is like it goes definitely with different legacy systems, very much inflicts the cloud support. It has the compliance engine built into it with a lot of redundancy, resiliency, which is very much required for this new footprint of IoT and other things, right? It's totally touchless. And the best part which I saw was that, Openpath has already explored both mobile and cloud. And they have their own, you have your own card readers, right? Like controllers, credentials, software, SDK, clouds, and whatnot. And you also blend very nicely into Meraki architecture and many others. So my question to you is, as the audience is asking here, that although you might have covered this, but just to reinstate one more time, as per the question asked, is that which cloud are you inclined to?
Yep, so we're hosted in Amazon Web Services Cloud.
Okay. And also, if you could please comment on video integrations, what you can do on your system.
Was it, sorry, Navdeep, what did you say, video integrations or just with your integrations?
Yeah, in addition to Meraki, which other video integrations your architecture can take?
Yeah, we have a few. What makes Meraki a little bit unique is we've built the Meraki integration into our own portal. So one can log into our portal, see the screen captures, the video clips, and manage everything inside the Openpath portal. And then with one click, then it links directly to that actual video clip within the Meraki portal, and we'll single sign on into the Meraki portal. And of course, very easy to map cameras to doors in our portal as well. So that's one thing that makes our integration with Meraki a little bit unique. Other ones that we integrate with today, we integrate with not a cloud solution, but on-premise solution, Milestone. Xprotect, we've got an integration with. There's an integration with Ava Video. They built the integration on the Ava side. There's an integration with Rhombus, RHOMBUS Video. Again, that integration takes place on the Rhombus side. And then finally, we've got an integration with Cameo, which is a smaller company, but they do some interesting things around being able to do natural language querying around the different video search, and that sits on top of a different hardware camera system from any other third party. So those are some that have grabbed our API, and with little to no support from Openpath, built the integration into their product. And then we really like the Meraki one because we built that into our portal, of course.
Excellent, Phil. This is amazing, actually. There's another question which is coming to us is about how are you doing the API business in your architecture? Like I heard that you have open APIs. So if you could please comment more on that.
Yeah, I can talk about that in two fronts. So one is our REST API. we build our entire cloud portal using our own API. So our developers will use our API to build our entire interface, and then we make those same API calls available to our customers. So anytime we build a feature, whether it's a big module or a little granular feature, we always add and publish the corresponding API calls to that. This allows customers to build a complete integration. You know, if they wanted to, they could even build our entire cloud portal themselves. There's really no reason to do that, but we make the API tools available for any developer to accomplish that. So integrations into Splunk or log analytics technology or into GSOC dashboards, whatever one might want to bring into security operations center. And that could be as simple as this person entered the door to as detailed as we have this many people in this space at any given time. Presence, we call that. And then of course, you saw from Joe's presentation, Meraki has similar occupancy management and analytics. So anything that we do to create in our portal, to pull from our portal, can be brought into any third-party system via modern API call that we make available on the website. And then finally, we've even got a mobile software development kit. So the default setup of Openpath is a user who needs to unlock a door would install our app, either from the App Store or the Play Store or from a mobile device management solution provided by their corporation. But we also have a mobile SDK, so third-party developer, and this could apply to technology partners or to employee apps. If bigger companies have their own employee app, can grab our mobile SDK and then bring that into any third-party app, including bringing in all the app and unlock technology that we have available in our own native app. And at that point, the employees or the users wouldn't even need to install the Openpath app.
Thank you, Phil. One more question for you, Phil. As we saw that in Meraki, they have sensors also, like they are adding more context to the video intelligence through sensors, right? So if you could please comment on what type of sensors you're planning in your architecture, or what type of sensors your architecture can also digest to add more context to the physical access and the security.
Yeah, great question. So today we don't manufacture or develop our own sensors, but data from other sensors could be combined with data from Openpath readers and then brought into log analytics platform or Splunk, as I mentioned before, to then give a lot of information pulling from disparate sources, one of which would be Openpath. We do have a reporting product that we call Presence. I just mentioned that a moment ago too. So a little bit more detail there is when a user is within Bluetooth range of one of our readers, then we know they're nearby. So I could go into a building, I could never need to unlock a door or interact with a reader, but just if I have a mobile credential with my phone, it will know that this user, and the data of course can be fully anonymized, that this user is in this area. And this can be very interesting for understanding occupancy, for traffic flow throughout an office. You have a lot of situations where one part of an office is not used, others are. So for real estate management, whether that's down to the tenant or the landlord, understanding what does the movement of people look like through the building. When they're within range of an Openpath reader, that's possible. And then third-party Bluetooth sensors could also be installed maybe where there's areas that are not within Bluetooth range of a reader to complete the coverage area to understand where people are and how they're moving throughout a space.
Excellent. So I think we are coming close to this session. I will request the audience also to join our impactful demo sessions tomorrow, both from Openpath, Meraki, and other partners. Thank you, everybody, and we really appreciate your time joining us today.
Thank you very much, Nadeep. Appreciate it. Great to see everybody, and hope it was enjoyable.